everybody, what's going on? It's Monday night, time for another movie review.
Yep.
We're
just a big hurricane coming.
We're just here, nervous about where this hurricane's gonna go.
I've done all I can do.
I mean,
gotta get some fuel.
It's kind of expected. If it's going the way they're expecting, it's supposed to slam right into fucking Tampa on Wednesday evening. About half an hour before the show would start.
Chances are it's only going to be a Cat 3 by the time it gets there, though.
I hope not, because it jumped up to a Category 5 today, which we don't want that hitting, because we're not that far from Tampa. Probably only about an hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes
we'd still get some of it. If it hit,
we would definitely get a lot of it.
Yeah.
So...
we're going to have 100-mile-an-hour winds, probably.
Yeah. So, power is definitely going to go out. Yeah. So, hopefully we'll still be able to do the show on Wednesday, but I wouldn't count on it. I mean, I'll get ready for it. Yeah. Just in case, because a miracle could happen. It could turn. I've seen hurricanes, be going this way and then turn around and go back the other way. Yep. You know what I mean? So, it's still a couple days away. We'll see how it goes. But, I don't know. I don't usually worry about these because I grew up in Florida, but I'm kind of worried about this one. I got to admit. But there's there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope, there's no reason to worry. You just got to ride it.
I know.
It's like, you're going to get punched in the face. There's nothing you can do. You just let the blow hit because you see the fist come. That's all.
Yeah.
All right, so reviewing movie New Jack City. Xánada sent this one to us, so it goes to the top of the review pile.
Yeah, because I think we brought it up on a sidetrack show. Yeah. I think we just happened to be talking about it.
Yeah, Xánada sent me a lot of good gangster movies over the time. He sent King of New York, too.
Yeah, we reviewed that a while back.
Which I'm going to say, out of the two movies, I think I like King of the New York a little bit better. But this is still a great movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen this for such a long time.
I didn't know... I didn't know that I had seen it, but as I was watching it, I remembered certain parts of certain scenes. So I saw it when it came out, but I don't remember where I saw it. I must have been in the Army at the time.
Yeah, it came out in 1991.
Yeah, so
I feel like I probably saw this in the theater, because I saw a lot of stuff in the theater back then. So I probably did, because I know I've seen it at least once.
This is an all-star cast.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's got basically all of Black Hollywood in it.
I mean, a large portion of them, sure.
And Peebles is in it. With Van Peebles is in it. He's good.
And Mario Van Peebles, he actually directed this movie as well. This was the first movie that he directed.
Yeah, he's good. Ice-T's in it. And, of course, Wesley Snipes is in it. And Chris Rock. And a bunch of other people. I mean, I think one of the dudes that played Shaft was in it as the judge. Wasn't he? Or no, as the chief of police.
Yeah, see, now I can't. He was only in one scene.
Yeah, I thought that guy might have played Shaft at one time.
But see, I thought that Mario Van Peebles' dad didn't he direct Shaft, the original Shaft?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Or am I totally pulling that out of my ass?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I'm sure one of you guys knows.
But what strikes you when I see this movie now is, one, how young and good looking these motherfuckers were back then.
I know. I was like, when Chris Rock shows up, and he plays a character named Pookie, which I thought was really funny. So we kept teasing our cat, whose name is also Pookie, about her days as a crack addict. So she was not having it. But I was like, when Chris Rock shows up first, I was like, oh my god, he's a fucking baby. Yeah. I forgot how, because it's a long fucking time ago.
He does a great performance in it too. Yeah. And really, when you watch the movie, you can see three dudes really stand out and shine during this, and this is at the beginnings of their careers, but you could tell they're really going to be something. And it's Wesley Snipes, Chris Rock, and Ice-T. They really stand out from the rest of them. Just they were given good roles, and they could act. Seeing this movie, I forgot how good of an actor Wesley Snipes is. He's fucking good.
He's great in this.
He could cry on demand. He was crying during one scene, during some of his scenes, and he pulls off just a really good, compelling bad guy. This is basically a Wesley Snipes movie. He's showcased in this movie. He carries it.
Yeah, I mean it's an ensemble cast for sure, but I mean he's kind of the standout.
He's the main attraction
because he's the main villain.
Yeah, he's kind of like reminds me of the dude from fucking Scarface. Kind of like Al Pacino from Scarface.
Well, that's kind of what they were modeling, because, I mean, there were several scenes in the movie where he was watching Scarface, because that was clearly, his favorite movie. And they were trying to make a connection between the two of them. It's because he's like, oh, I won't end up like that guy. And stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's good, man. And, I've always been a fan of Wesley Snipes' material. One of my favorite movies is Demolition Man, and he plays the villain in that. Simon Phoenix. He plays it's a comedy action kind of sci-fi dystopia movie. Especially Stallone, I really recommend it. And Stallone and fucking Snipes carry that whole movie. That's a great movie too. And his work on Blade 1 and 2, fucking knocked it out of the park. Blade 3 sucked, but that wasn't Snipes' problem. It wasn't his fault. Evidently, he didn't like doing that movie, Blade 3. Because they were obviously trying to jam some new superheroes in there, vampire killer heroes that the director wanted to have in an upcoming series that he was going to have. Because he was going to control. It was just kind of a bad movie. But Blade 1 and 2 are great. And I heard a rumor that Blade 4 is coming, and he's going to be in it, but I don't know if he's going to play Blade. That was just the rumor.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Hollywood rumors always, you know.
Well, you never know. You never know until it shows up in the multiplex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't seen Snipes in a while. Last movies I've seen was like Coming to America 2, and some of the work that he did in Expendables, which those were good too. But that's been a long Expendables. I think his movie in Expendables damn near 10 years ago now, though. So I don't know what he's like now.
Also, Judd Nelson is in this.
That's right. He's basically the only white guy.
Yeah, he's like the only white guy in this movie.
He's the token white guy.
I thought for a second, and if this is what it was, like, kudos to the person that did this, but when his character is introduced, like, you just see his feet, and he's, like, walking up these stone steps or whatever, and he has these boots on, and they're unlaced, and, like, his pants are kind of hanging out of him like that. Mm-hmm. And I said, I wonder, did they do that as an homage to Bender from The Breakfast Club, who Judd Nelson also played, because that's how he had his shoes.
Yeah, I think
so. I wonder if they were, like, making a little Easter egg about that. Yeah, because I noticed it, like, immediately. Yeah, I was like, hey, Bender feet.
Yeah, and he had the combat boots on and stuff. That was just
and I was like, okay, that's funny.
They were trying to let you know, like, this is kind of what Bender ended up doing, maybe.
This is the same universe.
It's like the same universe, right? Yeah.
Where it's like, well, he doesn't act.
His name isn't Bender either.
No, it's not. But isn't it like Peretti or something like that? Like, he doesn't act a lot like Bender, but he is kind of like a cop that doesn't play by the rules. Well, that's kind of the thing. I kind of feel like this movie.
You said before he was a cop, he was like Pookie.
Yeah, that's that he was like a crack addict, not like a cat Pookie.
He was the white Pookie. That's what he said.
Not the white Pookie.
Yeah.
Our cat is the gray Pookie.
Yeah.
But and she's not a crack addict that we know of. But but yeah.
I would notice the money being missing.
I know she's stealing money.
She doesn't have a concept of money. Cat hasn't figured that one out yet.
I just had like a funny like mental image of her like taking your debit card.
Yeah.
In her little paw, like going to buy some crack with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wouldn't do that. But yeah, so I kind of feel like this movie, it's fictionalized, obviously, and it's kind of from today's perspectives, it's kind of like over the top. But because I had forgotten that even though the movie comes out in 1991, it's actually the first part of it is set in 1986. So it's very, very like over the top 86. And then like about a quarter of the way through, like it jumps ahead 3 years. And like, so the rest of it is set in 1989. And if you've never seen the movie, it's basically about, it's kind of like a 90s take on a blaxploitation movie. So it's very over the top in that sense, but I think it really works. You know what I mean? It's basically why it's set. The first part of it is set in '86, is because that's kind of when crack started to like infiltrate, and so Wesley Snipes, who plays Nino, he's kind of like this drug kingpin, and he gets hip to this new crack thing that everybody's new delicious crack that everybody's doing. He's like, oh my god, we're gonna make a mint on this stuff. And basically what he does is him and his little henchmen take over an entire fucking apartment building, and it's a big apartment building in Harlem. Basically by either forcing everyone out, like by force, or you know what I mean, like by threatening to kill them, or saying it's like, oh well, you can stay here and they'll be like our customers. But they, like, just go into this apartment building and they start manufacturing shit in there and everything like that. And if you don't like it, you can fucking leave, So that's what they do. And so the first part of the movie is them doing that. And then after it jumps to 1989, like he's gotten like hugely successful. I think he says at one point that they make like $1 million a week or something ridiculous, like in 1989.
Yeah.
And so then it kind of becomes a thing where Ice-T, who plays a cop,
undercover cop,
an undercover cop.
Detective.
Now he's on suspension. I think he's on suspension for shooting Pookie in the leg.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
So he's kind of in trouble, and
he ends up making friends with Pookie later, and turns him into an agent. But
because he felt kind of bad.
Yeah.
And then like Pookie becomes a drug addict.
Yeah.
And then he makes him go to rehab because he felt bad about shooting him.
Yeah.
And he actually gets clean, and then he's like, okay, well, then he makes Pookie like a mole to go into Nino's operation.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, Pookie whiffs it almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like, everybody is telling Ice-T.
Couldn't trust him around that crack.
Everybody's telling Ice-T, it's like, this is a really dumb idea. It's like, he hasn't even been off crack for that long. It's like, he can't be around that much crack. It's like, it's a stupid idea. And he's like, no, it'll be fine. I trust him and stuff like that. And then, like, instantly.
Yeah, instantly.
He's just like, ooh, crack, yay. And it's like, he goes back on it and he just, like, fucks up the whole thing. But, so I thought that was kind of funny. And Pookie doesn't make it.
No, they kill his ass.
Yeah, they strap him.
But he's in a lot of the movie, though. Chris Rock, he fucking delivers, man. He does a good performance in this. Great performance.
Yeah, he's really good. Everybody's really good in this. Like I said, it's a heightened, like over the top kind of, like I said, kind of like a modern for 1991, like a modern blaxploitation, and especially in the '80s thing. Because man, Flavor Flav is in this.
Yeah, Flav's in it.
Fucking
Bridget Nelson.
Yeah, Flavor Flav was in this. Ika Mouse was in this. I think he played. Didn't he play like the guy that was the landlord of the apartment building, like Fat Smitty or whatever his name is.
I think so.
And who the fuck else was in this? There was somebody else famous in this.
There was Robin Givens in it, but it's not the Robin Givens you're thinking of.
No, it's not. No, Vanessa Williams.
Vanessa Williams, obviously.
Vanessa Williams.
Yeah, Vanessa Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, I got confused because I'm like, Vanessa Williams. There was a Vanessa Williams that won Miss America, right? And then she got in trouble because she posed for Playboy, which I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it was back in the day.
That back in the old days when people cared about that kind of shit. But there is actually another Vanessa Williams, and she was the same one. She was in this. She plays Keisha. She's like an assassin or whatever. And she was also in...
She was in a bunch of shit.
Candyman.
Yeah, she was in Candyman.
Like, she played... What was her name? Ruthie Jean or Ruthie Ann or something like that. Like, the mom of the baby that got taken.
She won a bunch of awards and was in a bunch of movies, a bunch of TV stuff.
Yeah. Because I was, like, recognized. But then we're like, well, that's not Vanessa Williams. That's not the Vanessa Williams.
I was going, because,
from Playboy.
Yeah, and I was looking at pictures of Vanessa Williams
like,
going,
that's
I haven't
totally
seen
not her.
her apply. No way. Yeah. Different one. Wrong skin tone.
I totally forgot that there were two Vanessa Williams.
Different Vanessa Williams.
I think they have like maybe a different, because isn't there like there's some kind of thing like with the Screen Actors Guild and stuff like that. You have to at least have a different. You could have the same first and last name, but you could have like a different middle name.
Yeah, she started using this actress started to use her middle name in there.
Right. Yeah.
But not at the time of the movie.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I was like, wow, Vanessa Williams, and I was like, wait, where's Vanessa Williams? I don't see her.
She never shows up.
Well, for a second, I thought that maybe she was Nino's girlfriend, who he always treats like shit, because I never really got that good of a look at her. But then we found out, we looked it up because we were like really curious. Like, where the fuck is she? I don't see her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also, and she definitely wasn't that stripper chick.
Well, she wasn't a stripper chick, was she?
Was she a stripper?
No, she was just strip teasing in front of the damn Wesley Snipes fucking drug lord. She was trying to fucking get him. She was trying to steal him.
Yeah, she was like, well, his second in command, G Money,
shows up.
She was kind of his girlfriend, kind of. But and then
he alludes to the fact that she might have been a high end hooker.
Right, but Wesley Snipes already had a girlfriend, but then he was just like, oh, I'm gonna have this one too, and it's like G Money's like, what the fuck, you already got one. Well, then she was implying that she wanted Wesley Snipes like to put a baby in her or something like that.
She was trying to capture
something to that.
She was trying to capture the throne.
And she was like saying, it's like, well, your girlfriend's infertile or whatever the fuck it was. Like she couldn't like have kids, and she was like, and they were like, rude. That's like not really a nice thing to say. But yeah, so this is kind of like what it was. This is sort of based on, obviously it's fictionalized. It's sort of based on a real dude, who I can't remember his name, Nicky something, but he was like a big kingpin in the 80s in Harlem, And his whole thing, and I guess he was like the first one to do this really, but like he was going to run this big drug operation like the mafia, right?
Yeah.
So I also heard a rumor, I don't know if this is true, but I also heard a rumor that the original, like I said, I don't know if this is true or not, that the original version of this script was actually supposed to be Godfather 3. And it was actually supposed to be about heroin and not crack. But then they, like, rewrote it.
Okay.
Like, to be about the crack epidemic.
Right.
But I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, they're just trying to make money off a good script, you know, so they just tweaked it and turned it into a black gangster movie. Which is a great movie. This is a great black gangster movie. It's got Italian gangsters in it, too.
Yeah, because at some point, I mean, Wesley Snipes, he just, like, kills everybody, right? Yeah. So, at some point, there's, like, the mafia... I guess he kind of had an agreement with them that they were supposed to take like a certain percentage or whatever, but he reneged on it.
Wouldn't pay them,
and wouldn't pay them what they thought they were owed. So they sent this dude, their enforcer guy or whoever it is, whose his name like Frankie Needles or something like that, and they sent him over there, and Nino is like really mean to them. He's like, he keeps calling them spaghetti eating motherfuckers and all this kind of shit.
Greasy slick back hair motherfuckers.
It's like all the fucking I'm glad we had the closed captioning on because like you could really capture like all the fucking funny shit.
Snipes would say the shit really fast. You know,
yeah, and I'd be like, wait, what was that? That sounded really funny. We have to like, you know what I mean? So I could actually like read it. But like all the fucking insults and shit like that were super funny. Yeah. Because they were all like really like slurs really, but they were kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, the slurs are funny.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how they're
in the context of a gangster movie.
In the context of
they got to fit the character of the movie and who's talking. They were accurate.
Yeah,
that's how they would talk to each other.
So at some point, like, so there's like this big fight going on, and because Wesley Snipes, of course, doesn't want to be fucking pushed around, right? And he's like, man, I own the world, and I'm just gonna do all of this shit that I want to do. I don't give a shit what y'all say about it. And so there's like a wedding. Whose wedding was it? It was like some big ass wedding. It was like his brother-in-law or someone, I don't remember.
It was one of the family members.
One of his family members. And the Italian mafia guys like show up in this fucking van like pretending to be like...
They were the caterers.
The caterers, yeah. And they just start fucking shooting everybody. And like Keisha gets shot. And like then like I love the scene where Nino like picks up his little girl and like uses her as a fucking
he uses her as a human shield and shit. He had no honor, really.
Yeah. Like she didn't get shot, but... Yeah. It was that. So then, like, after that shit happened and a whole bunch of his people got killed, he just goes and fucking gets on a motorcycle or whatever and just, like, fucking wipes out, like, all the fucking mobsters, like, in the drive-by, which is, like, great, that's, like, a really good scene, too. There's, like, a lot of big gunfights and all that kind of shit in this, too. So,
yeah,
that was kind of
cool. The
gunfights
gunfights are pretty good. Mm-hmm. There's not that many of them, but they're pretty good. But they're not as good as King of New York. King of New York had better gunfights, but that's not what this movie's about. This movie's more about the acting and the character development, the characters. It's drama. The acting is really good in it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like sort of marginally an action film. There are some big shootouts in it and stuff like that, but I think it's mostly like a crime drama.
Godfather.
Kind of, except funnier.
Well, you know, some of the shit's fucking retro hip hop culture, rap culture, and that shit was goofy, even in the day that it was happening. But some of it's happening before the movie was actually filmed.
Yeah, like way over.
So they kind of make it slightly goofy.
They seem like
over the top.
Yeah, it seems like pretty self-aware though.
Yeah, and then, you know, as it goes more into the contemporary times for the movie, which is like late 80s, like 87.
It was 89.
89.
The first part was 86, and then the rest of it was 89.
In 89, it's not quite as over the top.
Right.
But, you know, it's a good, solid flick. It's got really good acting in it. Ice-T does a fucking wonderful job. His acting is very solid.
He was in a lot of movies. He was.
It's so funny to see him, man. He's so young in this movie. He's young. He's young, good-looking guy who's handling this fucking role, and he delivers a very good. This is all pre-Coco and shit. I don't even think he was married to Coco. Didn't know who Coco was, but she's fine too, man. Fucking big bimbo, big boobs and shit. That's who he married. But I always liked Ice-T. Ice-T's fucking a cool dude, and then later on, fucking remember Body Count. He had
Ben just brought that up.
Yeah,
because Phantom said I can't stand Ice-T or his music, but I do love his wife.
Coco's
all day and night. And then Ben said Body Count is great.
Yeah,
I mean, I actually saw Body Count live in Jacksonville many years ago. They were awesome.
The thing about Ice-T is that Ice-T is very light skinned, and he's in these gangster movies, and he's coming off in the role as being kind of hard. But it never really quite feels too real to me with Ice-T, because I always have a fucking feeling that Ice-T is fucking pretty suburban. Okay, I never really had the feel that he was from the fucking.
Because I
think he was kind of a suburban guy.
I know some people that have met him.
Yeah.
And from everything that I've heard, like, he is a super nice dude.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. He's fucking.
Like, he's not like a hard ass or mean or nothing like that. Like,
Chris,
he's super
Chris
nice.
Rock. If you've ever seen any of his stand-up fucking material, you can only write stand-up material like that if you're a very intelligent dude. That dude comes off as a clown, but he's a very high IQ. Dude, he's very smart. Then you have Snipes. And fucking Snipes is a legend in my book. He's
definitely is.
Very much along the lines of like Sylvester Stallone in a certain way. He's very artistic. He could act. He's a martial artist. He was big into physicality. He fucking worked out a lot. He was good. I think he had some tax problems though, didn't he? Didn't he get busted for some tax problems? I think it was I'm not sure if that was Snipes or not. You guys can, but he was just a fucking interesting dude, and fucking his work on Blade and fucking Demolition Man was great. He was fucking, and he could even handle comedy. In fucking Coming to America 2, he fucking played that general, the African general.
Well, and like I said, he was in Tu Wong Fu, which was like which was a comedy and stuff like that. I mean, I think he has like really good comic timing.
You would think he wouldn't have much range.
No,
but he does.
As shit, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a great face, man. In this movie, he's just got a great face. I remember seeing him on fucking cable television with some of his black Hollywood actor friends and shit. They were fucking ribbing him about being the blackest man in Hollywood. And he was like, "Yeah, but I made it," you know. It's just fucking funny, you know. But he was like, he has a look an outstanding fucking dark-skinned look to him. You know, I mean, if you think of a fucking tough black dude who's dark, he's gonna look like Wesley Snipes in my mind. You know what I mean? Fucking that's you know, he's just it's just that look. He looks like somebody you would actually see. You know, fucking. But I like all his shit. Very African looking. Yeah, and can act and fucking do everything.
And he's like I said, he's great in this. He's over the top, but that's kind of what the character is like.
It's in the tone of the movie.
Yeah, they're kind of, like I said, they're kind of doing a modern take on Scarface. Yeah. He's kind of doing like an Al Pacino. He's not doing Al Pacino, but it's like along those same.
And I was watching his face, you know, when he's doing the fucking the scene towards the end of his character development where he's deciding whether or not he's gonna kill his fucking best friend.
Yeah.
And he's fucking tears start coming to his eyes and shit. And I looked, man, he actually did tear up. That wasn't tears added. He did.
Yeah, they didn't come in with.
They didn't come in there and fucking. No, he actually did. So he's using method acting and shit. Yeah. So yeah, he's good. Very good.
That was a very touching scene, honestly.
Yeah.
Even though they were both terrible people.
Well, they're trying to show you that even that these are humans.
Yeah.
No matter what they're doing, whether criminal or not, they're human beings.
And I think it's too that scene, because that happens like right toward the end of the movie. They're trying to show like just how far gone Nino has become, because it seemed like when he first started out, he was much more about like his boys and his family, and we're all gonna do this together and all this other kind of stuff. But as time went on, holy crap!
Yeah, well, fucking motorcycle.
Fucking motorcycle went by. I was like, what the fuck was that?
It sounds like a dirt bike. Actually.
It was super loud.
Yeah.
But as time went on, he just didn't give a shit about anything but like making more money, and he just would kill everybody that got in his way. He didn't give a shit anymore. But that just goes to show that it's like that was like the last best, because that was like his best friend, his brother. They'd like been together like all this time, and they supposedly loved each other, and he still like plugged him at the end. But he was upset about it. At least he had that. And I love too that like, so he gets his fucking ass handed to him. I laughed my ass off like when Ice-T like chases him out on the balcony or whatever. And then Judd Nelson's down on the ground being like, toss him down to me. Yeah. That's like, that made me laugh really hard. So it's like, so he falls off and then they arrest him and he's all fucked up, like he's all beat up and everything like that. But he just basically says when they're taking him away, because man, Ice-T wants to shoot him, because you find out later on, spoiler alert for a very old movie, that the woman that Wesley Snipes, that Nino killed for his gang initiation many years ago, was Ice-T's mom. Like, you know, and he just like killed her randomly. And so as soon as Ice-T found out about that, like, he was just like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker, you know what I mean? So he's just like going to shoot him in front of everybody, and they're like, no, man, it's not worth it. So they take him off to prison, or off to trial, and he's like, oh, I'll be out in a week. And ironically, it does turn out that he only gets a year, because basically what he does, it's hilarious, like that whole trial scene, because he's sitting there trying to like blame society at large for why he ended up the way he ended up. And he's just like talking to the prosecutor, who's a black woman, and he's just like, well, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and blah blah blah, and like all these horrible things happened to me and stuff like that, which might have been true, but it's like that doesn't really excuse what you did. And she's just like, society isn't on trial here, buddy. It's like, but you are. But he basically like throws one of his henchmen under the bus and says, oh, it was all his idea.
Yeah.
And then so he only gets a year, but then it turns out that old guy that came earlier, like wanting to fucking kill him, like comes to the courtroom and like assassinates him.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, because it's like, so the old guy does that. Somebody said that old guy was from Sesame Street, and I was like, shit, I knew I recognized him from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
everybody in this, man, all the black dudes, you're gonna kind of like, they're gonna look familiar if you're Gen X.
Yeah, like I recognize pretty much everybody in this from something or other. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I recognize him from, and I didn't realize it. But yeah, so he comes in and shoots him, and it's so funny because. So Wesley Snipes is like, haha, I kind of got away with it. I'm only going to prison for a year. And then he's still in the courthouse, and like the old guy comes up and is like, so like plugs him, right? Yeah. And then he just like falls over the thing. And like Ice-T's just like, eh. And then Judd Nelson's like, eh. they just kind of walk out. Yeah. Like, well, that worked out. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I laughed my fucking ass off at that point. That was like super funny. But yeah, I mean.
All in all, I think it's a great movie. It holds up. It does have nostalgia to it. 90s and 80s nostalgia are in it. Or actually, it never makes it to 90s, but late 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah.
And so you kind of... For us who lived through that time, we know when they're kind of being satirical and when they're not. Some of the shit is kind of comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're fucking making... The fucking crack epidemic was fucking ludicrous. It was like something out of the movies.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, I kind of feel like...
That's what it's about, the crack epidemic.
Yeah, this is maybe a little bit slightly exaggerated.
Yeah, they're slightly exaggerated. Almost kind of like out of RoboCop, where they're kind of slightly exaggerated.
Yeah, it's not that, but...
Not that zany, but...
Right, I mean, the crack, it was bad. I'm not saying it wasn't bad. But, I mean, they're trying to make a point, obviously, in the movie. And I feel like it's slightly heavy-handed about it. But, like I said, it seems pretty self-aware.
Yeah.
That it's doing that. So, I didn't really have a problem with the tone of it. Because, yeah, I think there's even, like, a thing at the end, like, before the credits, where it's just kind of like, you know, oh, this is the bad crack epidemic, and we can't let this happen, and blah, blah, blah. Which, like warning. I said, it was bad. But I do think this was, like, ever so slightly exaggerated. I think the whole phrase, New Jack City, I don't even think that phrase was originally talking about New York City, because this is set in Harlem. But I think that was originally talking about Detroit, like the drug wars in Detroit. Because I think it was, like, an essay or a book or something like that was written about the drug wars in Detroit. And I think that's where the phrase came from. But I guess they just appropriated it for this movie.
For those of you new to the show, I lived in Detroit for a few years. 2nd and West Hancock, at a building called the Wellesley. One time I come out of my apartment in the winter to get my car to go to work. This is before I joined the Army. I was working at a place called Spring Engineering. We were making springs for the inside of fucking car doors for Ford. We were subcontractors. Coming out of my back, and I fucking passed the fucking... Detroit was fucking wild, okay? I liked Detroit. I never had any problem there. I was coming out through the back gate of my apartment complex and past the fucking dumpsters, and I just see feet with socks on them fucking sticking up out of the dumpster. And I was like, fuck. You know, I look in there, and there's just a frozen black dude in there.
In the dumpster.
In a dumpster, yeah. So I said, well, they'll find him. You know, I had to go to work, so I got in the car and left. When I came back, he was gone.
So somebody.
But that's what happened. Yeah, there was a drug war going on. They took his shoes. They shot him and took his shoes and threw his ass in the dumpster.
I remember there was several cases of that. Where people would shoot people.
Never had a problem. There was a guy who white boys. They didn't give a shit about us.
Y'all weren't involved.
We weren't involved in it. Yeah, they were friendly. Hey man, what you doing? Hey, what's going on?
Nothing, man. I just live here.
Yeah, you weren't in the same game as they were.
Yeah, so that's kind of the thing. Phantom says, "What's BTK's opinion of Nino Brown?" With the Wesley Snipes.
I don't know. He don't have an opinion.
Yeah, Phantom says New Jack Swing. Yeah, that's actually where that genre of music. This movie is where they got the name for that. And actually, I think the name of Nino's gang in this, which is the Cash Money Brothers, or CMB. He even has jackets and everything. I mean, it's a whole thing, branding. And I think that's even like a record label. Isn't Lil Wayne on that label? On Cash Money Records or something like that. But so there's like a lot of you know what's weird? I was looking on Wikipedia and it said that there's a stage version of this that came out pretty recently. I think it was only like a year or two ago. And apparently it was like pretty successful. But yeah, they did like a stage version. I could see this working as a stage play. I don't think it's a musical, is it? I don't know. I think it's just like a stage play. But I could see this working as that. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen this in so fucking long. I hadn't seen this since the 90s. So it was like really interesting to see it again, like after all of this time.
It's a good old classic movie.
Yeah.
And when it came out, man, it was popular. Everybody talking about it.
Well, I think at the time, it was the most successful independent film that year.
Was it? Okay.
Like as far as like how much money it made.
And white people were watching it.
Everybody watched it.
All my white friends were fucking going, "Oh, did you see New Jack City?" So it wasn't just a black thing. Everybody watched it. It was a good flick.
Yeah, I remember like I said, I think I might have gone to the theater to see it because I was just going to see pretty much everything, and anything that was like an independent film, I didn't give a shit what it was about. I just go see it.
I didn't know it was independent. Well, that's probably why it was good.
Yeah, because I mean. I had where I grew up, we had like a dollar theater. So if you waited like 2 or 3 weeks after the movie came out, like you could go see it for $1.
Yeah.
So there was nothing really else to do around there. So we used to go see movies for $1 like all the time.
Yeah. In
Michigan, so I saw like pretty much everything.
In Trenton, Michigan, we had a place like that called Showboat, and my best friend, fucking Mike Kowalski at that time. This is all before I went in the army. He was the caretaker of the Showboat. After everything closed down, he'd go in there and fucking sweep up, make sure all the And we'd stand there for fucking hours just fucking around. He could get done in an hour. It didn't matter. It was just like a part-time thing for him.
Right.
I think they paid him like $150 a week just to come in and sweep up.
Huh.
Yeah. And then back in those days in the 80s, that was a lot of money.
Well, that is a lot of money.
And we'd be in there and fucking, he'd be up there and he'd pull up his guitar and start fucking playing on stage and shit. Because there was a stage in front of the screen. It wasn't big. It was like maybe 3 feet deep,
What did he play? Anything
just fucking, we just fucking around. He'd fucking do some Led Zeppelin and shit.
Okay.
Rocky
Mountain High.
No, fucking getting a Stairway to Heaven and shit.
Oh man.
Yeah, just funny. Different times. It was a fucking another time. Yeah.
Yeah. Phantom said King of New York is way better than this in my opinion.
King of New York.
I do like King of New York better.
And it has a lot of the same guys. I think Wesley Snipes is in that one too.
Wait, is Wesley Snipes?
I think he might have been.
Yeah, that's right. Because I think we were surprised that.
And I think Lawrence Fishburne was in it too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we reviewed it not too long ago. Because I think either one of you guys recommended it or sent it to us.
Yeah.
And so we did that. Yeah, that was like a really good movie. But this is kind of along the same lines, what I mean?
Similar.
Phantom also asks, has anyone seen that new VHS movie? And if so, is it good? Because I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I was actually going to watch it last night so I could review it. But then we got distracted because Shudder added all of the Friday the 13th movies. And we're like, oh my God, let's watch Friday the 13th Part 2. And then we're like, oh my God, let's watch Friday the 13th Part 4.
Yeah.
So we ended up watching both of those.
I still want to go back and watch 3, though.
I don't like 3, but we can watch it.
I haven't seen 3.
Shudder, I think, has all of them. Because I was like scrolling through. They have all of the Friday the 13th movies. They just added them like for...
Yeah, Xánada sent that one too. King of New York.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if
like all into the gangster movies.
Can anybody answer? Wasn't Wesley Snipes in King of New York also though? I think he was.
He might have been. Yeah. I don't think it was a big role or anything. I think it was like, and it might have been one of his first movies.
And I think Lawrence Fishburne was in it.
It
had black guys in it.
He might have been. Yeah.
I think Lawrence Fishburne was in that, and maybe had a bigger role.
Hugo said earlier, he said he'd never seen The Godfather, and he's never seen any Al Pacino movies.
Oh, what? Oh, no, you got to see those.
I mean, if you're into film at all, like, probably, I mean, you got to see The Godfather.
You got to see Godfather 1, and Godfather 2 is even better.
Yeah,
Godfather
oddly.
1. Yeah. Godfather 3 is a little slow. It's not bad.
It's all right. I don't love it.
It's okay, yeah.
I do like 2 better than 1.
2's better. Yeah.
But 1 is also a classic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those movies that, like I said, if you're into movies, like, you kind of have to see it.
Scarface is pretty good.
Yeah, Scarface is awesome.
That's a Florida movie there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's actually kind of a...
Kind of historical. I mean, kind of historically accurate.
No, what I was going to say was it's kind of a remake.
A little bit, yeah.
Because there was one that came out in the 30s.
That shit was going on in Miami at that time. We call it the cocaine cowboy era. All right. Most of that Miami skyline and a lot of Florida was built on cocaine money. Yeah. This is a huge trafficking center. All right.
Yeah.
And the state of Florida was
ocean.
The state of Florida was not interested in any way of stopping that flow of money. Just, let's be adults, people. Fucking, they weren't in on it. It's just that they tolerated it because fucking this state grew because of it. And the thing is that if you went against those guys, they'd kill you. So
yeah, so nobody.
It was better to just leave it alone.
Better just keep your mouth shut.
You could be the governor and shit. It wouldn't matter. You could wake up and in your bedroom there'd be 3 or 4 dudes in there that had creeped in like fucking BTK, and they got your wife. It's best to just leave those dudes alone. That was the way it was. Probably still is.
I would imagine. Stuff hasn't changed all that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian England said yes, Wesley Snipes was in Kings of New York.
I thought he was, yeah.
Yeah.
That movie had had better shootouts in it, from what I remember. I have to see that one again. Xánada gave me the Blu-ray.
Yeah, we should like rewatch it.
Yeah, I remember really liking that one. That movie was a drier movie in a certain way, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it did. Well, I mean, Christopher Walken's in it, so it's gonna have some walking. Yeah. But and all that entails.
He walked the fuck out of that movie.
But yeah, so there's gonna be that. But yeah, I will say that this was a lot more. This isn't like a comedy, but the tone of it is a lot bigger, is a lot more like larger than life. Yeah. I guess than Kings of New York was like a little bit more grounded. I guess. Yeah. It did have a little bit of that sort of like over the top vibe to it, but not as much as this one does. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, and Lawrence Fishburne was in it too.
That's what I thought.
He was a thug and Snipes was a cop.
Yeah, that's right.
Kenny D. Thank you very much for checking.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we thought we remembered. Yeah. It was a while back we watched it.
Man, fucking Snipes, he's a fucking legend. And he doesn't get...
Yeah, he rules.
You know, it wasn't until the fucking Expendables came out they gave Snipe the credit that, yeah, you were an action star too.
He's like, well, gee, thanks.
Yeah, you were an action star too.
I've been around for fucking since the 80s or 90s. So.
And he could act, yeah.
They're just now noticing.
It takes a long time to put a bunch of time in, you know what I mean? And fucking,
and then everybody's like, oh, you're awesome. Okay.
But you know, so was Carl Weathers. Carl was the shit too, man, until the day he died. And he fucking directed a couple of the best Mandalorian episodes that were like second season of Mandalorian before that went to shit. I have a feeling all that shit's going to come back, though. There's a big shakeup as Disney. And I think they're going to put Jon Favreau, I think they're going to put him in charge of Star Wars. If they do, he could save it. But you got to stop all those stupid side projects and bring back Luke Skywalker, the real Luke Skywalker, and bring back all the classic characters that people care about. And fucking, I liked Mandalorian season 1 and 2, man. They were really working with something. That was legitimate Star Wars.
Yeah, I liked the Mandalorian.
Very legitimate. Season 3, they fucked it up. I knew what happened, politics and shit. They fired fucking Cara Dune off of there for some tweets and shit, and then the fans turned on it. They're like, okay, well, fuck Kathleen Kennedy. She was the one that was really behind all that. But they're going to fucking lay her low soon, I think, because the fucking board of director and the shareholders are fucking revolting. They're even writing about it in Forbes. So we'll see.
Phantom says that Friday the 13th Part 3 is great, especially with the final chase scene during the windy night.
I liked it.
I liked it when I was younger, but
yeah.
when I rewatched it when I was older, I didn't like it as much. Like I said, 2 and 4 are my favorites. And Phantom also says Part 3 has the hottest girls in the whole franchise, in my opinion. I don't remember what they look like. I'd have to rewatch
Although
it.
Part 2, man, remember the girl with the booty and the dude hits her with the fucking, throws the rock at her booty, and then later on she's fucking skinny dipping? I was talking about that with Jen. I says, man, when we were fucking young teens, we would stay up to watch this movie to see that chick fucking take her clothes off and get into that damn water. And we considered her to be like a fitness girl. Like, you know, I'm like, yeah, she's so athletic. You see her now, and she's not athletic by today's standards. Instagram really changes your...
She's just very tall and lean.
She's not that tall.
Well, she looks tall.
Yeah, she's just lean looking. Lean, and she has good definition. She looks like maybe she was on a swim team. You know, she definitely did something. But there's this fucking thing, man, that you've been hearing in the manosphere. You just hear it everywhere that, man, back in the 70s and 80s, those dudes were macho, man. Fucking, we're all low testosterone now and fucking weak and shit. And like, you don't know the 70s. Most of them dudes in the 70s and 80s were not in very good shape at all. They might have had swag. They might have had game. But physically, they were not all that physically fit.
It wasn't really a thing.
No.
It was kind of niche.
They thought that was cheating.
Yeah.
That if you worked out and if you whip somebody's ass and they go, yeah, that's because you worked out, that's cheating. You know, you're supposed to just whip somebody's ass by pure masculinity, pure nothing, just male energy or something.
Here's my masculinity.
Yeah.
It's like a chi ball. I can knock you out from over here.
A good example would be Burt Reynolds, Southern classic. Okay. He had a tough image, he had game, he had charm, he looked good. In the movies he could fight, he could do his own stunts. He actually was, but if you were to fucking take his shirt off, which he did Playboy, you look at him, okay, there's not much there. He's not very muscular. He's very, very regular. He's not fat, okay, but he was considered to be an action star. Man, I'm fucking pushing 60. I could whip fucking Burt Reynolds' ass. You know, I got twice the muscle mass. Well, now I think he did, but I could go back and whip 30-year-old fucking man.
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, yeah, I could whip a 30-year-old Burt Reynolds' ass. You know what I mean? There just wasn't much muscle there, so a lot of it is just show. You know, the bravado was there, but they weren't very physically fit. You look at World War II veterans. On the ships, ready to fucking storm the seas, they got little bitty arms. They're skinny. They're not fat, though. They're fucking skinny. They didn't have much muscle on them. There are more bigger dudes today than there ever was.
Yeah.
It used to be in the 70s, it was only Arnold and fucking the guys on Muscle Beach were built like that. And that might have been fucking 20 or 30 dudes. Now they got thousands of guys like that. So, it's a lot better than they're making you think it is today. Because you just have so much knowledge at your fingertips and cryptocurrency and internet and just...
Well, like I said...
You can be anything you want to be.
Back in the old days,
yeah,
bodybuilding or any kind of fitness or health for men or anything like that was kind of seen as, I don't know, cheating or effeminate or niche. It wasn't really seen as like a mainstream, hey, I'm just taking care of myself or I want to get big or jacked or whatever. It's just, it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. Because now, like, if you say that, like, nobody would think that was weird.
In the 70s... If you were riding skateboards or motorcycles, you wore safety gear, they'd say that shit was girly.
Yeah.
Say, no, that's pussy shit. You know, fucking even Evel Knievel wouldn't wear safety gear, just a helmet. But a dude came forward and says, "I can make you fucking body armor and you wouldn't get so busted up." And he's like, yeah, but only a pussy would do that.
I guess he enjoyed getting
It was just kind of, yeah, well, that was kind of, the mentality
he's
was
a masochist.
The mentality wasn't quite the same, you know.
I mean, to me, it's just, I'm not a dude, I don't know. So it's like, to me, it just seems kind of dumb.
It just seems bravado.
Like, yeah, it just seems really preventable.
Yeah.
You know, why, if you're doing something that dangerous, it's like, why wouldn't you at least want to, because, man, you could, like, fucking break your neck, you'd be dead.
Why not have fucking spinal protection?
At least.
Why not have knee pads and elbow pads built into your fucking suit, shin guards? You know, fucking, I wear all that shit. I came off at 70 in all my fucking Icon Striker armor. I was busted up. Jenny would fucking tell you the stories. I could barely move and shit. I was black and blue. I pissed a little bit of blood, but I lived.
You didn't break any bones or nothing?
Didn't even go to the hospital.
Nope.
He
was all right a few days later.
Yep.
He had to lay around and groan a few days.
Yeah. Cady would just put a hamburger on my chest and I sit there and
just kind of push it.
You know, my chest, I couldn't fucking move, man. It was just stiff. And had that been in the 70s, I would have been wearing nothing. I probably wouldn't have survived it.
I don't think you would have.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see the accident happen, but the way you described it to me, I'm just like, I don't think you would have.
I probably would have survived it back in the 70s. I wouldn't have been wearing anything because, oh, man, only girls wear that shit. Yeah, right.
Why do you think women live a lot longer?
Yeah.
Because we don't do dumb shit like that.
Well, you're afraid you're going to fall off. And they had a different... The old school masculine attitude was only partly right. They also were fucking stupid.
They were very stupid, yeah. Like I said, it's easily preventable. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not proving anything to anybody by just
wear safety equipment.
Dumb shit like
if you're going to do dangerous shit, wear safety equipment to give you some margin of error.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can come back and do it again.
Yeah.
The brave motherfucker does it again.
Yeah, you just keep doing it.
Heal up and do it again.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of it, right?
Okay, so what are they saying? Anything new in there?
Let's see.
I got to get fuel for the storm tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing. Man, I really hope that hurricane doesn't come because it looks like it's going to come right up our fucking
I got
ass.
a badass gas can. I got one of them fucking $100 metal jerry cans. All right? That thing won't drop a drop of fucking fuel. You can fill it up at the gas station, fucking put the lid on it and everything, and fucking you won't even smell gasoline.
Yeah,
it's a fuel cell.
We have to go down to the gas station, go down to Circle K.
Get some fuel for the generator.
Get some fuel for the generator, because I'm sure the power is probably going to go out.
Yeah, and I'll hook up the freezers and the refrigerator and run those. I won't worry about AC. It'll be cool, I think.
I hope so.
And
let's just hope the fucking roof doesn't blow off or anything like that.
We'll leave that running. If we get bored, we'll just drive out of here and go to a place that has fucking electricity so we can use tablets and stuff and try to kill time. Maybe go see a movie or something.
If any of that's open.
If it's open. Well, we'll drive to a place where that shit's open.
We might have to drive really far.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we'll see how it goes. But hopefully, like
the Omega Man. I got AR-15s laying around here. I got all my fucking gear. We got emergency food. Fucking, I don't have a whole lot of emergency water, but I don't think water is gonna be a problem. I can filter water, and I got those 2 fucking water drain off barrels out there on the side of the house too.
Phantom says, is an inflatable raft a good purchase for storm weather in Florida?
Why would you need an inflatable?
I don't think you would need it.
No. We're not in a flood zone.
We're not in a flood zone. Like, on the coast, you might... I kind of worry more about... I mean, it's going to suck for us if it hits where they think it's going to hit. But it's going to suck way more for Tampa because that's on the coast.
Yeah,
that's where you're going to get storm surge and you're going to get like all the flooding and shit like that.
You're going to get 10 fucking feet of water fucking surging up over the coastline and go into the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
I mean, it's just...
But we're inland.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like in the Orlando. Central... Yeah, we're like north of Orlando.
Yeah.
So we're going to get it for sure.
Yeah, we're going to get 100-mile-an-hour winds.
But
we're going to lose power.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of limbs and shit are be flying around.
Because we lost power during Helene, and that barely...
Yeah.
That just barely scraped
That was only for a few hours.
And that was just like a few hours. So...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Tammy said most of Carolinas and Tennessee got destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, those 2 areas got destroyed because they mostly never had flooding. But flooding happened there for some reason. I forgot what happened. Something broke.
Tammy said we lost power for 2 days from Helene, and we're in Southwest Virginia.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Ours only went out for a couple hours, but like I said, it just kind of glanced us, you know what I mean?
We're in a place of Florida where, we're in a part of Florida we got really good crews working out here.
Well,
and we're in a rich neighborhood, too. We're in a rich part of the country.
I mean, thankfully, I don't want
these mansions and shit on a golf course.
I don't want to jinx it, but I mean, these houses that we're in this neighborhood were built specifically for they have like doors that don't go out, like they, you know what I mean?
All hurricane proof.
They're supposedly.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I'm sure like if it's bad enough, it's gonna fuck it up anyway. But we'll see. So I don't want to promise that we're gonna be here for Wednesday night show because I don't know if we are. If we can do it, we will do it. If we can, it's gonna be about the railway killers. Duffy and Mulcahy, who are 2 British serial rapists and murderers.
The chances are it'll make landfall Thursday morning here, so we'll probably be
Wednesday night. It's supposed to make landfall in Tampa.
Is it? Okay.
Wednesday night, 7 p.m. That was the last that I saw.
Okay.
So
last I heard,
I don't know unless it's slowed down. I don't really know, but we'll see. We'll just kind of play it by ear.
That shit could turn. That's
what I mean. It could turn. It could slow down. It could speed up. It could do like a million other things. So we'll keep you guys posted about it. And if we can be here Wednesday, we'll be here Wednesday. So if we do, I hope you guys can join us then. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us this evening. And we will see you guys hopefully again on Wednesday. If not, like I said, we'll see how it goes from there. But yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Bye.